are live. Welcome back to EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. I'm back with another episode of the Ringside Replay, my people. I hope everyone is doing well. How's everyone doing, man? Apologies for the delay. There's a lot happening, man. There's a lot going on in the world of combat sports, man, especially boxing. So I had to get some videos done before I started the live. First of all, let me get the house in order. I need to remove this EMGM Sports logo and replace it with a Ringside, man. You know what I mean? Because this is the Ringside Replay. You already know, man. Every Monday, usually I start the live stream from 9 p.m. but delayed today, so I had to start a little bit later. But nevertheless, man, we're still going to get in. We're still going to talk about what we scheduled to talk about. Do you know what I mean? The show must continue. The show must carry on. Let me know if you're in the building. Let me know if the sound is good or if the sound is bad. If you can hear me clearly. I'll just wait for a few more people to join, and then I'm gonna carry on, man. You know what I mean? I don't really wait for too many people to join before I carry on. For me, I treat this like recording a normal video. You know what I mean? Like my normal uploads, man. You know, that's how I treat this show, man. I'm just gonna talk about what I need to talk about, and then, you know, whoever misses it, you miss it, watch the replay, man. You know what I mean? You can always watch the replay, so I don't really have a problem, man. But I go live when I go live. There's a few topics that I want to cover in today's show. You can get involved as well. You know, drop down your questions. You know, if you got any questions, any other topics that you want to talk about as well, just let me know in the chat as well. We can talk about that. I don't have a problem whatsoever. It was a great weekend of combat sports, boxing. Bam Rodriguez defeated Antonio Vargas to become a free weight division champion. That was great. He captured the WBO title in a bantamweight division. And yeah, man, sends out a message to Inoue. Is that fight next? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Misfits. Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall. What a mess that was, man. That was crazy. That was just... First, I think that was I don't know if I've watched the Misfits show before in the past, but yeah, that was... I'm going to keep it real, man. That was rubbish, man. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch another Misfits boxing event ever again, man. Unless it's a crossover fight where someone from boxing comes over there and fights one of them clowns there. But yeah, nah, Misfits boxing not for me, man. Like, it's crazy. It's just a comedy show. It's a circus. We're gonna talk about that. I wanna talk about white card freedom. No, the UFC, the White House freedom card. I want to talk about that as well. Some shocks in there as well, man. Justin Gaethje stopping Ilia Topuria, man. Like, Ilia Topuria, his corner, you know, pulled him out of the fight. Crazy, you know what I mean? Like that. I don't know what the odds were on that fight. Like, I'm not a betting man, but Ilia Topuria was a huge favorite for that fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a big upset. Justin Gaethje, though, he deserves it, man. Look how long he's been in the game for, you know what I mean? And whenever he gets close to the title, he always comes up short. But this time, he got the job done, you know what I mean? Undisputed champion in the lightweight division in the UFC. Shout out to Justin Gaethje. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. That was always a risk, man. Always a risky fight for Alex Pereira, but yeah, man, he's a brave guy, always willing to take a risk. He came up from light heavy to the heavyweight division. He is what it is, man. You know what I mean? You go for greatness. It's not always gonna happen when you go for greatness. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, he got stopped. He got brutally stopped, man, by Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane he's game though, man. You know what I mean? I always knew that was gonna be a tough fight for Pereira, because Ciryl Gane is a great mover, man. You know what I mean? He's got great kickboxing. You know, he's ring IQ, octagon IQ, whatever you call it. Like, he's one of the best in the game. You know what I mean? His movement is great. He moves like a middleweight. For such a big guy, he's got great movement. So I always knew that Pereira is going to have problems with that movement from Ciryl Gane, and it turned out to be so. But we're going to cover that as well, man. We're going to cover all of that. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes to see if more people join in, or some people join in. Then I'm gonna carry on. Let me just write some stuff down. If you got any questions as well, just let me know. Just let me know, man. Hold on. Let me get this done. Let me see. Bam versus Vargas, White House. Hold on, let me just check, make sure that my volume is working properly. Yeah, the volume is all good. The volume is all good. All right, so listen, man. I'm going to crack on. Whoever joins. If you don't have time to join today's live, then watch the replay, man. People can always watch the replay. But yeah, man, let's start. I'm going to start with Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez moving up from 115 pounds up to 118 pounds to face the WBA champion, Antonio Vargas. Yeah, listen, man. Bam Rodriguez, obviously, listen, I think he's like top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world, man. He's that good. He's that skilled, yeah. And obviously moving up, everyone had him as favorite anyway to beat Antonio Vargas. And everyone was kind of like dismissing Antonio Vargas. You know what I mean? I feel like Antonio Vargas was kind of being disrespected because if you look at the whole setup of the fight, yeah, it was like Antonio Vargas, he's the champion, right? So he's the champion, but they had him coming out first, which again, for me, that's a big disrespect, yeah? And also, they had Antonio Vargas, his name, Vargas, came second, so they had Bam Rodriguez versus Vargas. Like, do you know what I mean? For me, that's total disrespect to the champion, man. Like, it shouldn't really matter about status, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't really matter about, like sometimes with boxing, yeah, like the A side, they put so much emphasis on the A side, like who brings in the most money, who's the bigger name in the sport, like they'll put you first. Like I remember they done that with Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois when the two guys fought, yeah, Wembley, like 2 years ago. They had Anthony Joshua coming out second when Dubois was the champion. He had the IBF strap, and Dubois came out first. And sometimes when you do shit like that, it can go wrong. And we saw it because, Dubois ended up sparking out Joshua. Like, he used that as fuel. Dubois used it as fuel, as motivation to go out and spark out Joshua. So I think, like, it's a bit disrespectful by promoters are disrespectful. Because I'm sure the fighters, they have mutual respect. You know what I mean? The fighters know what they go through to prepare for the fight. So the fighters, they have respect between themselves. Like, there might be some sportsmanship going on, but the fighters have respect between themselves. It's more the promoters that kind of like put these things in place. You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna come out first? Who's gonna come out second? Oh, whose name is gonna be first and whose name is gonna be second? Like, do you know what I mean? So I feel like Antonio Vargas was a bit disrespected when it comes to that regard. Yeah, it deserved a bit more respect. Yeah, but anyways, man, that's boxing politics, man. That's the business of boxing, man. Shit like that's been happening for donkey's years, and I'm sure it's not going to change anytime soon. is going to continue to happen anyway. But going into the fight, yeah, first couple of rounds, very competitive, man. Very competitive, man. Antonio Vargas, like, he showed that, you know what I mean, he's the real deal, man. Early on, he was exchanging with Bam Rodriguez, you know what I mean? Even though Bam Rodriguez was switching the angles and making it a little bit awkward, and he was throwing the combination, catching Antonio Vargas with the left hand, he was really pissing him up, yeah. But whenever he would hit Vargas with something, Vargas would come back with something as well. Do you know what I mean? He would throw his combination. He would push back Bam Rodriguez. So first 3 rounds, very competitive. You know, when he got to the 4th round, I think I had it 2-2. Do you know what I mean? 2 rounds apiece, very competitive. The change really came in the 5th round when Bam Rodriguez caught Antonio Vargas with a beautiful left. Do you know what I mean? Straight left, dropped him, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end. Even though in that 5th round, after he got dropped, Vargas kind of recovered. Do you know what I mean? Regathered himself and actually finished the round quite strong. Maybe too strong for his own sake. Maybe he should have like stepped his foot off the gas and kind of like recovered properly and saved the gas tank a little bit more, because when he came out in the 6th, he got stopped. And that's because I feel like he went too hard in the 5th round when he got dropped. I think he should have recovered a little bit more, not spend too much energy in trying to put everything in that round, especially towards that round where he was pushing Rodriguez back. You know what I mean? So that was I think that played a part in him getting knocked out in the 6th round, because he didn't fully recover. That's the problem. Antonio Vargas did not fully recover from that knockdown in the 5th round. He rushed things. He came out in the 6th and he got caught. And yeah, that was murder she wrote, man. Again, beautiful left. It was a straight left from Bam Rodriguez, and it was a short straight. Like, they was a bit close to each other. Hit him, bam, and that was it, man. That was the end of it. That was murder she wrote, and statement victory, statement win for Bam Rodriguez. You know, he was supposed to do that. Everyone was predicting him to do that. Maybe not as people maybe didn't predict the fight to be as competitive early on. Maybe therefore, the fight, Bam Rodriguez might dominate early on, and then Vargas might start working his way back into the fight because he's the bigger guy. You know what I mean? He's been at 118 pounds for longer than Bam Rodriguez, and he's the champion. So people maybe for you come on stronger later, but early on, like, he was using his size, the reach, the height. He was really like going after Bam Rodriguez, and he was very competitive. But like I said, man, Bam Rodriguez, he's just on another level of eliteness. You know what I mean? Like, he's just got everything: movement, the ring IQ, speed, combination punching, technique. He's got everything. You know what I mean? He's got everything. It's just, for me, the way I look at Bam Rodriguez, he might be just too smooth. You know what I mean? Maybe the size might not be on his side for him to really go up the weight divisions. I think he can probably just go up one more weight division. You know what I mean? Go up to the super bantam, and that will be the end for him. I don't think he can go any further than that. So his size, his height might be a limitation for him in the higher weight classes. But where he is right now, like 115, 118, 122 pounds, like, I think he'll be quite comfortable operating in those weight divisions. I think he'll be completely fine, yeah? But the big question now that everyone's asking is who next for Bam Rodriguez? Is it for him to go straight into that Inoue fight, or should he take another fight? That's the question that everyone's been asking, And for me personally, I said in my post-fight reaction, I did suggest that maybe Bam Rodriguez should have one or two more fights at 118 pounds. That's just my opinion, because I feel like jumping straight into a fight against Inoue at 122 pounds super bantamweight is very risky, because Inoue would have all the advantages: bigger, stronger, more established at that weight class. He's got power as well, very good boxer. So it's gonna be a challenge for Bam Rodriguez. So I feel like there's some fights at 118 pounds for Bam Rodriguez to take, like Takuma Takuma Inoue, like Naoya Inoue's brother, he could fight that. He's got the WBC strap. You know what I mean? Ben Rodriguez can go for that. And also, you've got Medina. You know what I mean? The WBO. Is Medina the WBO? Yeah, Medina is the WBO champion. Yeah, Medina is the WBO champion at 118 pounds. Hold on, let me just double check that. Boxing, 118 pound boxing champions. Let me just double check, man. Hold on, bantamweight. 113 pound. I'm just looking for that. All right, let me just flip my screen, man. Let me show sign. All right, so here we go. Yeah, this 118 pounds bantamweight division. Let's see the potential fights for Ben Rodriguez. You've got Christian Medina, WBO champion. He's signed to Matchroom as well, Eddie Hearn. So that's an easy fight to make. You know what I mean? That is an easy fight to make. There'll be no hurdles to go over. Do you know what I mean? No blockades, because both guys are promoted by the same person, and that's Eddie Hearn. So that's a very easy fight to make for Bam Rodriguez. So for me, that's a fight. That's a very winnable. I think Bam Rodriguez will be favorite to beat Medina, although it's going to be a tough fight because obviously any champion it will be tough. But Bam Rodriguez will have the better skills, better ring IQ, etc., and the power as well to take on Christian Medina and capture that belt and unify the WBA and WBC belt. So why not, man? I think that's the fight to make. And like I said as well, you've got Takuma Inoue. You know, you got Takuma Inoue. That's the younger brother of Naoya Inoue. He's got the WBC belt. That's a winnable fight. Very winnable fight for Bam Rodriguez. He can go for that. You've got Jose Salas Reyes with the IBF title. Listen, there's fights there, man. There's unification fights there for Bam Rodriguez. I don't think he needs to rush to fight Inoue next. I think, you know, business-wise, if we're just talking like just general business, the business of boxing and striking while the iron's hot, you know, make the money right now, then go for the Inoue fight. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to go for the Inoue fight because that's the big fight to make. That's what's going to attract more money, you know what I mean, out of all the fights. But very risky, like I said, man. Inoue is bigger, stronger, punches hard. And one thing I took from the weekend at the post-fight interview, Bam Rodriguez himself said that he felt the power of Antonio Vargas. He felt the power of Antonio Vargas. This is Antonio Vargas at 118 pounds. You know, now imagine moving up another weight division to fight Inoue. So if he can feel Antonio Vargas's power, imagine Inoue's power. Do you know what I mean? Because Inoue's got that concussive power. He's got that one-punch power where he can knock you out. And he's a very good boxer with a high level of ring IQ. So that is no joke. That is no joke. For me personally, I would say for Bam Rodriguez, stay at 118 pounds, have one or two more fights, fight another champion. He can fight two champions back to back. You know what I mean? He can even go for undisputed at that weight division. But I don't think they're going to want to wait that long. I don't think Eddie Hearn, Turki Al-Sheikh, who's been talking about Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez for a very long time, he wants to make that fight. He's hungry for that fight. Turki Al-Sheikh, he's all about making the big fights, yeah? So Turki Al-Sheikh might just go, you know what, F it. Let's make the Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue fight. But for me personally, there's no rush. Seriously. There's absolutely no rush in making the Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez fight. It could happen next year. I saw the response on my video. Some people were saying that, you know what, Enzo, Inoue is going to retire soon. You know, he doesn't want to wait around forever for Bam Rodriguez. But Inoue is what? 33 years old or something, 32, 33, man. He ain't retiring now, man. A lot of these fighters, they talk about retirement, but they're not going to retire, man. They're not going to retire. Let me know, man. If you're in the chat, if you're in the audience, let me know, man. Is that the fight that you want to see next? Do you want to see Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez next? Or do you feel like Bam Rodriguez should take another fight at 118 pound at bantamweight before he moves up to super bantamweight to take on Inoue? For me, he should fight Christian Medina next, who holds the WBO, who holds the WBO belt. That's a unification fight. They're easy to make. Eddie Hearn, he promotes both fighters, so there'll be no hurdles, you know what I mean, no obstacles in the way of that fight. That's an easy fight to make. And also before Bam Rodriguez and Antonio Vargas signed their fight, before the fight was agreed, they actually approached Christian Medina. But he didn't want to take that fight against Bam Rodriguez because he wanted it to be a unification fight. So he suggested that if Bam Rodriguez comes up, wins a title, then them two can fight for the unification. So now that Bam Rodriguez has the title, he's got the WBA, it's only right that they make that fight, right? That unification fight with Christian Medina, because he's already agreed for that fight if Bam Rodriguez has a title. So easy to make, man. Easy to make. Let's get that done, man. Let's get that fight signed, and then early 2027 we can make the Inoue fight. For Inoue, in the meantime, because Rodriguez won't be available, fight Takami. Is it Takami? Fight the last guy that Inoue fought. Takani. Oh, man. Hold on. Struggling with the pronunciation. Yeah, fight Nakatani. You know what I mean? Inoue versus Nakatani rematch. I think that's going to be a crack of a fight. I really enjoyed the first fight. You know, listen, man, there wasn't much in it. I just felt like Nakatani started a little bit slow because I think he kind of felt intimidated. He was intimidated by Inoue early on. He was afraid of the power. You know what I mean? He didn't want to take no risk. So he kind of gave up a lot of those early rounds, but then he came back strong in the mid-rounds. You know what I mean? He came back strong in the mid-rounds, and then when you go to like the 8th, was it the 9th or the 10th round, he had a cut. Nakatani got a cut, and that affected his vision, and then Inoue took over the fight again, and that just gave him enough to win the fight. And I had it like, I think I gave Inoue like 2 or 3 rounds. And that's only because Inoue started, you know, had a quicker start than Nakatani in that fight. But if Nakatani makes slight adjustments, just a little bit of an adjustments, it doesn't even have to be a lot, you know what I mean? Because technically both guys, do you know what I mean, they're very close to each other. Technically, power is obviously with Inoue. But Nakatani, when he was throwing straight shots, it was getting to Inoue. You can see Inoue slowing down. He was feeling the pace, and he was feeling the power of Nakatani as well. Like, he's not one punch KO type of power, but it certainly had a sting to it. You know what I mean? So Inoue and Nakatani, they can just go for the rematch, man. They can just go for another rematch. In the meantime, Bam Rodriguez fights against Christian Medina, unify the titles. Then he can see how he feels after that, whether he wants to have one more fight to unify another title or move up and fight Inoue early 2027. You know, I don't see no harm in that. Seriously, I see no harm in that. But that's just me. Hey, that's just my suggestion, man, as a boxing fan. But yeah, man, well done to, congrats to Bam Rodriguez. He's now a free weight division champion. No easy feat, man. You know what I mean? Not every fighter can achieve that. Only the greats have achieved that. So shout out to Bam Rodriguez. Very talented fighter. You know what I mean? I love watching his fights because just the boxing skills on display is amazing. And me as an amateur boxing coach, I'm always watching, do you know what I mean, the super skilled fighters, because I'm learning myself, you know what I mean? I'm taking notes, you know, I'm seeing what they do right, what they do really good. And I learn from that, so then I can implement it. So then I can take that to my students and try and get them to pick up some of those good habits as well. Do you know what I mean? And I like to see how they make adjustments. You know, if something's not going well for them during the fight, I like to see how they make adjustments. And Bam Rodriguez, Terence Crawford, Usyk, Inoue, all these elite fighters, man, very skillful fighters. I watch them, like I study them to the fullest because they do everything right a lot of the time. You know what I mean? 9 out of 10 times, you know, when they step up the levels, they're doing everything correctly. And you know what I mean? Just memorizing, watching them. But that is it with the Bam Rodriguez. He's now a freeweight division champion. Congrats to him. We're just going to wait and see whether he moves up immediately to fight against Inoue, or he's going to take another fight at 118 pounds to unify the titles against Christian Medina. I'm going with the latter. I think he's gonna fight Christian Medina next, because I think Bam Rodriguez himself, he realized when he was in that fight against Antonio Vargas, even though he got the win, but I think himself, when he watches that take back, he's gonna go, you know what? Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. I really had to bite down and move up the levels to get the win. So I'm sure he's realized it, and I think he's gonna want to have one more fight, because he said he felt the power of Vargas. So I'm sure he's gonna want to have one more fight, build his body into that weight division as well. You know what I mean? Beef up a little bit more, and then move up to fight anyway. So only time will tell, man. Let's wait and see. So that's Bam Rodriguez versus Antonio Vargas. That's all done. We're going to wait and see whether Rodriguez will fight Inoue next. Let's wait and see. Now, quick one. I just want to go over the White House Freedom card at the weekend. I was meant to do I was gonna do what do you call it? I was gonna do a watch along for that live commentary, but yeah, by the time I woke up, man, you know what I mean? Like, I woke up with like 3 fights to go, like. So I watched the Ciryl Gane fight versus Pereira, and then I watched the main event, Gaethje versus Topuria. I just want to talk about the co-main and the main event quickly. Alex Pereira coming up from the light heavyweight division, two-weight division champion in the UFC. He was going for history to become freeweight division champion, you know what I mean, by winning the interim title. But yeah, Ciryl Gane had other ideas, man. And when this fight was announced, a lot of people had Pereira as the favorite, but I always knew like Ciryl Gane is always going to be awkward for anybody, you know what I mean? Because whenever Ciryl Gane steps up to fight for an interim title, this guy never loses. You know what I mean? He's lost title fights, like when he's in a proper title fight, he's lost. But when Ciryl Gane fights for interim titles, like he always wins. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really too surprised when he stotched Alex Pereira, dropped him and finished him. You know what I mean? Because I just knew the movement of Ciryl Gane. Because Ciryl Gane is a big guy. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", but he moves like a middleweight. You know, he's got great movement. He's got that kickboxing background, and he just made things awkward in there for Alex Pereira. With Alex Pereira, one thing I've noticed, he likes stationary targets. You know what I mean? What you try and do is intimidate and use his size to impose himself in that octagon and try and push you back onto the cage and then let his shots go. But Ciryl Gane was just circling. Do you know what I mean? And Ciryl Gane as well is a southpaw. So that was another awkwardness that was added into that fight as well. Like, it was very hard for Pereira to time him. It was very hard for Pereira to set his feet and let the shots go, because every time he set his feet to let a shot go, he was getting like jabbed. Do you know what I mean? Like that jab from Ciryl Gane, like, it was just on the money, man. He kept catching Alex Pereira with it. It was just, listen, man, it was just, the fight was easier than I thought it would be, the way Ciryl Gane handled Pereira, but I knew it. Like, I had Alex, my prediction was Alex Pereira to win, but I always knew it was going to be difficult, because Ciryl Gane is technically very sound. One of the best technical fighters in the UFC, man. The guy can kick, can box. His wrestling is not all that. Yeah, he's not that much of a wrestler. But what he did in that fight against Alex Pereira, he did threaten the grappling. You know what I mean? He did threaten that takedown. Like, he didn't really commit to the takedown, but because the threat of the takedown was there, Pereira then was alert to it. Do you know what I mean? Then he started getting reactions when Gane started using the feint. And we saw Alex Pereira just freeze, man. You know what I mean? It really didn't show much in his debut at a heavyweight division. And Ciryl Gane went on to finish him. I believe, what was it, the third? Yeah, it was finished. I believe it's the third round. Finish him with nice combination. I think it was a left hand or the jab dropped Pereira, and Pereira got back up, got pieced up with leg kicks up top to the head, combinations. He dropped again. Couple of shots to the back of the head, which seems to be a problem with a lot of fights in the UFC where when a fighter is down or they're scrambling, a fighter is trying to get back up, a lot of hammer fist to the back of the head, and referees don't seem to stop it for some reason. Maybe because look, the fight is in motion and the other guy's trying to finish the fight, so maybe the referees don't want to stop it. But there was a few shots at the back of the head there that could do serious damage, man. I think the UFC really need to look into that and put a stop to it. You know what I mean? Because one day a fight is going to get seriously hurt. But apart from those couple of shots at the back of the head, Ciryl Gane had a perfect game plan. You know what I mean? And he showed that he's the established heavyweight. You know what I mean? Even though he's the underdog, but he showed levels, he showed skills now. What's next for Alex Pereira? For me personally, listen, after that defeat, for me, I think it belongs in the light heavyweight division. I don't think his body's got a frame or he's going to be able to carry that part to the heavyweight division. I think go back to the light heavyweight division. He can dominate that. He's better than everyone in that division. Listen, there's some challenges there, but he's the best fighter at the light heavyweight division. For me, Alex Pereira drop back down. Don't stay in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? The big fights for him, they are gone, especially, after that defeat against Ciryl Gane. And he's getting on with age as well, Pereira. Do you know what I mean? He's getting on a bit. If he wants to stay in the heavy division to get another crack at the title, he has to rebuild. He has to fight other contenders. It's just long. He hasn't got the time for that. Drop down to the light heavyweight division and fight the current champion. You know what I mean? For Ciryl Gane, we already know, man. It's probably most likely going to be a rematch between him and Tom Aspinall. Remember, he had that eye injury in the first fight. Very competitive early on until the eye injury. A lot of people actually believe that Ciryl Gane had a momentum against Tom Aspinall. He was getting the better of the exchanges. So it's going to be interesting to see when that rematch takes place. If it does actually happen, whether Tom Aspinall will return anytime soon to the octagon because he's got that eye injury. Has he recovered from the eye injury? We're just going to wait and see. But lastly, the main event. Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. Mate, that was a crazy fight, man. Absolutely crazy fight. So competitive early on. Gaethje, the jab from Justin Gaethje was just, his jab was sharp, man. Absolutely sharp early on. And Ilia Topuria, man, there was just something off about him, man. No head movement whatsoever. Every single shot that Justin Gaethje was throwing was landing because it's just no head movement from Ilia Topuria. Like, he was coming forward covering, but there's no point covering like this and just coming forward in a straight line because, they're wearing like 8-ounce gloves, 5-ounce gloves in the UFC, man. Like, even those punches that you're blocking with your hand, mate, they're still cracking you, man. They're still hurt. You know what I mean? You're better off using head movement and footwork to evade the punches rather than just trying to block you with your hands because them punches, they still crack you, man. So Topuria was in a lot of shots in that first round, but then he came back in the second round, actually dropped Justin Gaethje with some beautiful body shots, but it just seemed like he spent so much energy in that second round to try and finish Gaethje that he gassed out. You know what I mean? And for the next two rounds, it just wasn't himself. He was getting caught by some big shots from Justin Gaethje. And eventually in the fourth round, you know what I mean, when he went back onto his stool, his team just, pulled him out. You know what I mean? They pulled him out. He had bad eye injuries. You know what I mean? Both of his eyes were cut, swollen. He was struggling with vision. And yeah, that was it, man. You know what I mean? Ilia Topuria, I don't think he quit. A lot of people are saying, he quit. I don't think he quit. I think his team just pulled him out. You know what I mean? His team pulled him out of the fight because there was really nothing left of him. But yeah, Justin Gaethje, man, again, showed everyone, man, he's the real deal. He's a stud, man. They got the job done. And I'm so happy for Justin Gaethje because he's one of those guys that has been in the UFC so long. He gets close to a title but just never has enough. You know what I mean? He's had the title shot against Habib, against who else was he had the title shot against? Against who was Charles Oliveira. Like, he's lost all of them. You know what I mean? He's just always falls short. But this time he made sure he got the job done, and he's now the new undisputed champion in the lightweight division in the UFC. Congratulations to Justin Gaethje, man. Deserves it. He's one of those guys. He deserves it. Such a nice guy. Always comes to fight. Always comes to fight. And it's crazy how MMA maths works, right? Like, combat sports in general is crazy because Max Holloway, he knocked out Justin Gaethje, but then Ilia Topuria knocked out Max Holloway. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, and Charles Oliveira beat Justin Gaethje, but then Ilia Topuria knocked out Charles Oliveira. Like, he's messed up. And then Justin Gaethje beats Ilia Topuria. So, like, the maths just ain't mathing, man. Like, combat sports, yeah, it just throws weird things at you, man. But congrats to Justin Gaethje, top guy. I wish him all the best. They're talking about a rematch. You know, I saw a little post today. Justin Gaethje said that he's not going to give Ilia Topuria a rematch because of his antics before the fight. Topuria has this thing where he's so confident in himself. Some people might say it's arrogance, borderline cockiness, where he'll have a victory celebration before the fight. You know, I saw a little post in the night of the fight. You know, so that's a bit. Hold on, what's that volume? Yeah, so, what was I saying? Topuria have his celebration, victory celebration before the fight, in the eve of the fight. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So a lot of people see that as arrogance, cockiness. So Justin Gaethje was like, yo, put you in your place, man. I beat you, so you're not going to get a rematch because of the way you acted. But it's not really going to be up to Justin Gaethje about a rematch. It's going to be up to Dana White in the UFC, man. If Dana White in the UFC deemed that rematch to be profitable, you know, there's going to be hype behind it. There's going to be a lot of money. They're going to do the rematch. You know what I mean? And that's the difference between the UFC and boxing. You know what I mean? Boxing fighters can duck each other. They can hide behind management and promoters. But in the UFC, there's only one promoter, bruv. That's Dana White. Like, he's the boss. You know, if he tells you you're fighting again, you're having a rematch, you better, you know, listen, but you better fucking listen. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna fight the rematch. You know what I mean? It's Dana White's way or the highway. Like, there's no mincing words. There's no other two ways about it. You know what I mean? So that is it for the UFC. Really enjoyed that UFC card, man. Like I said, I was gonna do a live commentary, but I woke up late. You know what I mean? But for the fights that I watched, it was absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm going to end with the rubbish of the weekend. You know what I mean? The donkey of the weekend. That's Misfits Boxing. We saw Tommy Fury go up against Eddie Hall. You know, the beauty versus the beast, as they called it. Yeah, man, that was like some nonsense, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to keep it real. Like, I don't think I've ever covered a Misfits Boxing event. But I don't think I ever will, because the boxing, I don't even think they should call it Misfits Boxing. Just call it Misfits, man, because there was no boxing on display, really. You know what I mean? A lot of the fighters, they had no technique, no head movement. They don't know how to throw a punch, nothing at all. Like, it was just, it was a stinker. You know what I mean? The only fight I like Swarm's. Swarm's fight, I like that. I think he boxed quite well. The strongest man in the UK, whatever that guy's name is, against Arms Corleone. Both guys were just throwing body shots. There was no head shots. At the time of the fight, when I was watching it live, I was like, yo, why is no one throwing headshots? But apparently the Big Stacks, that's his name, Big Stacks, he got injured the night before during the weigh-in. Someone punched his mouth, so he had an injury on his mouth, and they agreed that they're not going to punch each other in the face. So it's just body shots. And I'm like, bruv, this is just a joke, bro. It seems so scripted, like WWE shit, and just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I was like, you know what? This is crazy, man. And the main event, Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall, man. Tommy Fury just ran around, man. Do you know what I mean? He just ran around for the whole fight. but it had to. You know what I mean? I get why, because Eddie Hall is a beast, man. He's a monster. You know what I mean? Strongest man in the world, wherever he is. And yeah, you don't really want to stand toe-to-toe with him. But he really had no technique. You know what I mean? He was just rushing Tommy Fury and throwing some wild punches that really and truly, like an elite boxer, not even an elite boxer, like a good professional boxer would evade those punches and just and counter Eddie Hall. But Tommy Fury, like, he just didn't want to know, man. He was running through the old jab, you know, once in a while, a little 1-2 combo, but he never really stood still, like, and just planted his feet and went for it. He never wanted to take a chance. And for me, basically, listen, he got the win, he's made his money, but for me personally, Tommy Fury should stay with Misfits. He's not, he's not a professional boxer, man. If he comes back over to professional boxing, he'll get smoked by any top 50 boxer. I'm just keeping it real. Like, Tommy Fury is not even, he's not even British level, man. He's like a white-collar boxer. I know white-collar boxers that will beat him. Like, seriously, I'm not even joking around. I know white-collar boxers that will beat Tommy Fury. So, yeah, he's just not good enough, man. Stay in that Misfits lane, like, get your money. I'm not a hater. I know people, like, some of my reaction videos, I'm getting, like, comments like, oh, you're a hater. You know, you're a hater. Tommy Fury's making millions. Why are you hating? Bro, I'm not hating, man. Listen, let Tommy Fury make his millions, man. Like, I don't give a shit about that. But I will give my honest opinion on boxing. You know what I mean? Anything to do with boxing fights. If I'm paying the pay-per-views, I'm going to have my own opinion. You know what I mean? People seem to think, some people, not everyone, but some people seem to think like you have to be a professional boxer or some type of expert to have an opinion on boxing. That's some bullshit. You know what I mean? Any boxing fan, ordinary person, not a guy off the street, you know, we can all have an opinion on any sport. You know what I mean? We're entitled to our opinion. So I'm not hating on Tommy Fury or jealous of him or anything like that. I just said he can't box. It's crap. And that's the honest truth. That's how I feel. That's how I see when he boxes. He's not good enough. You know what I mean? What do you want him to do? Lie and say that, yo, he's good enough? For me, he's not good enough, then that's my opinion. You know, you're entitled to your opinion as well. If you think that Tommy Fury is good, like there are a lot of Tommy Fury fanboys out there. If you think he's good, then he's good, innit? He's good for you, not for me. You know, but yeah, the whole Misfits Boxing thing, mate, they need to do better. I don't know who's coaching these guys, but they're not taking in the instructions like on board. Like, they're not listening. They're not communicating properly to them, because they're coaching them one thing, but they're getting in there, they're fighting like this. You know what I mean? What's that about? What is that about? But anyways, man, I want to leave it at that. I want to leave it there. I want to be off, man. Normally, I'm here for about an hour and a half, but then there's more people. You know what I mean? When there's more people, like last week, we had a bit more people. But this week, it seems a bit dry. I can't really see my screen properly, but I don't think a lot of people have come through. No one's even dropped a comment. So I don't know. Everyone's busy. Everyone's had a long weekend. No one's available today. But listen, like I said, man, I always have to crack on with the show, innit? I'm not one of those people where you're going to go live and then you wait for that 100 people to come through. Mate, if I have 1 or 2 people, I'm going to crack on the live. Even if I have nobody there, I'm still going to treat the live as if I'm recording my video, like an upload. So, because I know people will come back later and watch the videos anyway on a replay when they have time. So that's not an issue for me. But I will be back next week, Monday, 9 p.m. The usual time, 9 p.m. I will be back. And we're going to discuss whatever, you know, the breaking news in boxing, because there's a lot of things happening in boxing. We might get some fight announcements coming up this week. So there's a lot happening. I will be back with some more news, you know, next weekend for the Ringside replay at 9 p.m. That's going to be episode 10. So far, things have gone well. The channel is growing. We're nearly at 5,000. So keep supporting my people. Keep showing the love. Keep liking. Keep commenting. Keep sharing the links to your friends, family, and enemies. Whoever wants to listen, keep showing them keep sharing the links to them. I appreciate everyone that's supporting the channel. Today, I didn't really get the turnout that I thought I was gonna get. I thought I was gonna get at least, you know, 10 to 15, 20 people. But my usual suspects, my usual guys that normally come on the live, I don't know, they're busy or they're sleeping or they're at work. they're doing something. So it's a minor. The show must go on. We still cracked on. Thank you so much to everyone who's going to watch this video, watch the replay. Make sure when you do watch it, please comment and drop a like as well. And subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Thank you so much to everyone. I really appreciate it. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. I'll be back next Monday with a Ringside Replay episode 10. Look out for that. I'll see you then, my people. Until then, take care.